Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Virayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 4 Chapter 7 Text 32 Indra
Yes, Mataji.
Uvach Pardon?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Indra Uvacha Idam Api Achyuta Vishwabhavanam Vapur Anandakaram Manodrisham Suravidvit Kshapanair Udhayudhair Bhujadhandair Upapannam Ashtibhi. King Indra said, My dear Lord, your transcendental form with 8 hands and weapons in each of them appears for the welfare of the entire universe, and it's very pleasing to the mind and eyes. In such a form, your lordship is always prepared to punish the demons who are envious of your devotees. Purport. It's generally understood from revealed scriptures that Lord Vishnu appears with 4 hands, but in this particular sacrificial arena, Lord Vishnu arrived with 8 hands. King Indra said, Even though we are accustomed to see your 4-handed Vishnu form, this appearance with 8 hands is as real as the 4-handed form. As Lord Brahma had said, to realize the transcendental form of the Lord is beyond the power of the senses. In reply to that statement by Brahma, King Indra said that even though the transcendental form of the Lord is not perceivable by the material senses, his activities and his transcendental form can be understood. The Lord's uncommon features, uncommon activities, and uncommon beauty can be perceived even by an ordinary man. For example, when Lord Krishna appeared just like a 6 or 7-year-old boy in Vrindavana, he was approached by the residents there. There were torrents of rain, and the Lord saved the residents of Vrindavana by lifting Govardhana hill and resting it on a little finger of his left hand for 7 days. This uncommon feature of the Lord should convince even materialistic persons who want to speculate to the limit of their material senses. Activities of the Lord are pleasing to experimental vision also. But impersonalists will not believe in his identity because they study the personality of God and, of the Lord by comparing their personality to his. Because men in this material world cannot lift a hill, they do not believe that the Lord can lift one. They accept the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam to be allegorical, and they try to interpret them in their own way. But factually, the Lord lifted the hill in the presence of all the inhabitants of Vrindavana, as corroborated by great acharyas and authors like Vyasadeva and Narada. Everything about the Lord, his activities, pastimes, and uncommon features should be accepted as is. And in this way, even in our present condition, we can understand the Lord. In the instance herein, King Indra confirmed, Your presence with 8 hands is as good as your presence with 4 hands. There is no doubt about it. The demigods also get to see the Supreme Lord from time to time. Though not always, but special occasions, they do meet. They are purified enough to see the Vishnu form. So only 4-armed form they see. And he says that this 8-armed form is also as real as that. And as Brahma said, and now Indra is also saying that his form is transcendental, and Brahma said that it's not perceivable by material senses. His activities and his transcendental form can be, it's not perceivable or understood by our senses and our mind. So, but Prabhupada is saying, but Lord's uncommon features, uncommon activities, uncommon beauty can be perceived even by an ordinary man. Because, I mean, even though we may not have seen it, I mean, the Shastras are telling us, and we can understand it to be true. How do we find, how do people have faith that, yes, this Govardhana hill, we see that, and then we accept it, yes, this is something special, and Krishna lifted this Govardhana hill. So that is also because of some kind of faith in the Lord, some kind of, understanding about spiritual matters, a little bit of bhakti. We don't have enough to see him directly yet, but because his uncommon features, uncommon activities, uncommon beauty can be perceived even by an ordinary man. And so this uncommon feature of the Lord should convince even materialistic persons who want to speculate to the limit of their material senses. So especially when you go to Vrindavan and you see all the pastimes that are mentioned in the Bhagavatam, it is there. I mean, like many places where some Krishna's lotus feet is there, or butter marks are there. So like this, everything, there is evidence. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and revived all of it. Before, nobody knew. After Krishna left this world, and then slowly it became just a sleepy village and nobody even knew all the pastime places. And he came and revived because it's very important. Then Krishna's pastimes come alive for us when we go to Vrindavan. Oh, this is where, that place in the cave in which Krishna was in the form of a peacock close to Varsana, and how they met and so many things, all the pastimes. Or Shankari Kor, the narrow place where they used to, Radharani and her friends, gopis, they used to pass by, and Krishna would come there with his friends and hit the pot and break the pot and all these things. So we have complete faith in Krishna's identity. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there are those, and we accept it. Yes, Krishna can do it. He can lift the hill. But the materialistic, I mean, the atheistic people, they only compare. They think everything, Atmano Jagat. Because we see the world according to how we are. Whatever we are thinking, that's what we think others are also thinking. Whatever I can do, that's all I think others can do. Because I have no experience of what somebody else can do, which I cannot do. So I think they'll not be able to do. So it is like that. We consider everything with our own this thing. That's why Prabhupada called the scientists frog in the well, because they think that, whatever they do, that is all everybody will be able to do. So they don't have faith in God. What can God do? So much. And then somebody came and said, oh, told the frog that there is a big, vast ocean outside. This small well is only very small, but there it's huge. So then the frog, he could not believe it. How much bigger could it be? And then he kept bloating himself more and more and more. This big, this big. And then he said, no, bigger, bigger. And finally he burst. So that is the story Prabhupada says about the scientist, Dr. Frog, who cannot understand that God has got some powers more than what you have. And
Hare
so
Krishna Mataji, Dandapranam.
Then Pranam.
Sorry to interrupt, Mataji. whatever kind others do, Mataji, we can't do, Mataji. If we are jivas, same Atma, and so Mataji, I think this is correct or wrong, Mataji?
What God does, we cannot do, na? Scientists think that
God is fine, Mataji. No, God is fine, but whatever can other jiva can do, we can't do, Mataji.
no,
Like
different people
whatever
have got
can other person can do, we can't do, Mataji.
no, different people have got different strengths, different talents, different mindsets. Everybody is not the same, but we try to judge others by our own capacities, isn't it? Because we don't know what another person can do, we think, they will be able to do whatever I can do. That we always try to understand others through our own experiences, isn't it? But that is because of material identity. Because we're so much attached to our body, and that is all we can understand. We are limited by our bodily experiences and mental feelings, thoughts and all that. And we try to understand others also like that. Suppose, see, I'm very greedy, okay, I'm after money. If I'm like that, then I'll think, oh, wherever I go, I'll be very suspicious. This guy, now, he just wants money. That is why he's doing like that. I will think others are also like that, isn't it? It's like that. Whatever we are attached to, we think others also must be attached like that only, isn't it? Anything you think, like suppose somebody is very innocent and they will not suspect anybody at all. He will think, oh, everyone must be good. Like that. So, in the same way, like in the village, okay, if you go and tell them all these things, something big, okay, like people cannot imagine because their experience is whatever is there in the village. And so they will not be able to imagine even that in the city, all these things are available. It's like that, according to your experience. You think that is all there is. So those who are trying to understand God through their own limited experiences and strength will think, how is it anybody can lift a hill? This is all fantastic stories. And that's why they think, oh, Srimad Bhagavatam has got all fairy tales, all these lifting, so many other amazing things, mystical powers are all described, how Kardama Muni built a 7-story palace airplane. Oh, this is all fairy tale. That's what they think. But he actually did it. Because we cannot do it today. we cannot produce anything. We don't have the mystic power. Just chanting mantras, something comes. We're not able to do that. So we think it's impossible. Isn't it? So we should not try to understand God through our limited mind and senses. Because actually the soul is also free. It's full of knowledge. Everything. It's also got mystic power. It's spiritual, just same quality as Krishna. But because we've forgotten, the more that we don't want to serve Krishna, we're completely caught up in this body. And so we cannot understand our spiritual nature. Neither we can understand Krishna's spiritual nature, how he can do anything. And we disbelieve it. Sometimes, we don't have faith. How can anyone do like that? I cannot do because I'm in this material body. But a spiritual body can do anything. Spiritual, okay, it is not between different people. It's about our consciousness. We are in this human, this thing, we are completely identifying with our body and mind, so we cannot understand Krishna, who's beyond this. All right?
Because Mataji, we are imperfect, Mataji.
Yes, we are thinking we are under the limitations of this body, temporary body with very less powers. See, even the other living beings in the material world, higher planetary system, and even the asuras below, They do much more tapasya. So, not the Devatas because of their advanced spiritual consciousness, and they have mystic powers. And even the Rakshasas and the Asuras, because of doing lot of tapasya, they also have mystic power. But here some of the yogis have in the earthly planet. But general people, no, we don't have. But through devotion, yes, a pure devotee has got Ashtasiddhis, because that the mystic power that comes from because of Krishna, the devotee is not interested in showing off all these siddhis. But because he is always with Krishna, Krishna exhibits all these powerful things. So it is all coming from Krishna, who is fully pure. And because of my imperfection, because of identifying myself with the body, that's why I'm not able to understand or experience those spiritual things, those spiritual capacities. We can go anywhere in our spiritual body, anywhere in the material world or spiritual world. So many things are possible. How through Ashtanga yoga, they get the siddhis that you can become smaller than the smallest and enter anything, anywhere, anything, even inside an atom, the Atma can go like that, or bigger than the biggest. So many mystic perfections are available. We don't know that because we're not able to do that. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? Even in
With
today's
bhakti,
world, huh?
so with bhakti yoga, we can't do Ashtanga yoga, we can't get that power, Mataji.
You
Even we don't
through
want, but
bhakti
we can't do.
yoga, you'll not be interested in that power, but the power will
Oh,
be
yeah.
with you.
Okay,
Like
okay.
Prabhupada, when he was walking, the devotees noticed that his feet are not even touching the ground. Like, the
Yeah.
Devatas. Devatas, when they come, their feet don't touch the ground. And Prabhupada, being a pure devotee, when he was walking, he was just walking fast, and then his feet didn't even touch the ground. Devotees noticed that. And he had lot of, without mystic power, can he do all these things? Create 108 temples all by himself. Alone, he went everywhere, so many devotees, so much money he collected. All that, it's mystic power only. Is devotion to Krishna, and Krishna made it happen. Devotee does not say it's my mystic power. He just depends on Krishna. So that is how.
It's Mataji, very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Text 33. Patnyau uchuhu yajñoyam tava yajanaya kena srishto vidvasta pashupatinadya dakshakopat tam nastvam shava shayanabha shantamedham yajñatman nalina rucha drishapunihi. The wives of the performers of the sacrifice said, "My dear Lord, the sacrifice was arranged under the instruction of Brahma, but unfortunately, Lord Shiva, being angry at Daksha, devastated the entire scene. And because of his anger, the animals meant for sacrifice are lying dead. Therefore, the preparations of the yajna have been lost. Now, by the glance of your lotus eyes, the sanctity of the sacrificial arena may be again invoked." Purport. Animals were offered in sacrifice in order to give them renewed life. That was the purpose of having animals there. Offering an animal in sacrifice and giving them renewed life was the evidence of the strength of the chanting mantras. Unfortunately, when Daksha's sacrifice was devastated by Lord Shiva, some of the animals were killed. One was killed just to replace the head of Daksha. Their bodies were lying about, and the sacrificial arena was turned into a crematorium. Thus, the real purpose of yajna was lost. Lord Vishnu, being the ultimate objective of such sacrificial ceremonies, was requested by the wives of the priests to glance over the yajna arena with his costless mercy, so that the routine work of the yajna might be continued. The purport here is that animals should not be unnecessarily killed. They were used to prove the strength of the mantras and were to have been rejuvenated by the use of the mantras. They should not have been killed as they were by Lord Shiva to replace the head of Daksha with an animal's head. It was pleasing to see an animal sacrificed and rejuvenated, and that pleasing atmosphere had been lost. The wives of the priests requested that the animals be brought back to life by the glance of Lord Vishnu to make a pleasing yajna. So finally, the ladies, they gave very nice, very practical and very positive understanding the, you know, I mean, what can really revive very positively and understanding the power of the Lord. They requested, please, by the grace, glance of your lotus eyes, sanctify this place again so that the yajna can go on. Another thing is, the wives of the performers of the sacrifice said, my dear Lord, the sacrifice was arranged under the instruction of Brahma, but unfortunately, Lord Shiva, being angry at Daksha, devastated the entire scene. And because of his anger, the animals meant for sacrifice are lying dead. So many times it may happen that we are embarking on a good work, something, and in between something happens, okay, and then everything, everything is very, everyone is very materialistic and fighting and no cooperation like this. And then all our activities get stopped, spoiled. It may be even devotional service. Sometimes devotees come together to do some service, and because of some anger and material kind of, you know, mm, materialistic dealings, the whole thing may become spoiled. But we can revive it again if we take shelter of the Lord again. Oh, my Lord, because of our foolishness, we got into Maya, and the whole atmosphere became polluted. It happens. If they come together and then there are a lot of quarrels and fights and everything becomes stopped. And again, it can be revived if they take shelter of the Guru of Krishna and beg for his blessings. So, to err is human and to forgive is divine. So, Krishna is always ready to forgive us, but we have to take shelter. At true repentance, they were all repenting for whatever happened. Actually, but then they are all talking about Shiva's anger. But what made that anger? They're not even condemning Daksha. That's what is. Daksha is the one, he is the one who spoiled everything, actually. Because by not giving, I mean, if you offend, how can you perform a yajna being offensive to such a great Vaishnava it's his right to get these offerings. So it started with that. This Daksha is the cause. And Shiva gave a proper this thing because and nobody is even mentioning that we feel so, upset that Sati had to lose her life. They never said, oh, we feel sorry because all this happened, offense to Shiva. Nobody said anything. They're just saying Shiva's anger caused everything. Anyway, maybe it's included in that Shiva got angry because of Daksha's behavior. And anyway, they are saying, but unfortunately, Lord Shiva, being angry at Daksha, devastated the entire scene. And because of his anger, the animals meant for sacrifice are lying dead. Therefore, the preparation of the yajna have been lost. Now, by the glance of your lotus eyes, the sanctity of the sacrificial arena may be again invoked. So, so all sacrifices are meant for the, he is saying, Lord Vishnu being the ultimate objective of such sacrificial ceremonies, was requested by the wives of priests to glance over the yajna. So any work which we do, if Krishna is the enjoyer or the ultimate beneficiary or objective of that service, then everything will be fine. But in between, somebody does something for himself, then that is when it creates all kinds of unpleasantness. Then everybody starts, or at least even if two people are quarreling, about themselves. It's all about their own, whatever, self-interest or sense gratification, then the whole mood gets ruined. Because then the mood of sacrificing for Vishnu is lost, and it just becomes a mundane affair. Then everyone becomes angry, and then there's fight, and uh, you know, then how can Krishna be satisfied, or how can that thing become a yajna? So that is why we have to make sure that whatever we do must be in the mode of service to Krishna. That is what we're trying every day to cultivate. Cultivate this thing of serving Krishna, everything for you, Krishna, in a mood of service. That is what gives happiness. When all work is done for the pleasure of Vishnu, automatically everything becomes happy. Here they're also experiencing that. They all set out to do sacrifice for Vishnu. And then in between, all these nonsense happened. And then such horrible things. It has even happened in the heavenly planets where there are all lot of mode of goodness. There only people behave. I mean, when your consciousness deviates and you start thinking about yourself instead of Vishnu's satisfaction, this definitely, even there it happens. So that is why we have to be so careful that if everybody thinks, oh, I want to serve Krishna, that is Krishna Prem. We are thinking Krishna Prem will suddenly happen one day magically. I will just be just doing my whatever things, and suddenly one Krishna Prem will come from somewhere like a lightning, and I'll strike my body and I'll become full of. No, Krishna Prem. Sometimes you get Kripa Siddhi also. Just somebody puts his hand in your head, and then, oh, Krishna Prem. That is some very rare cases. We can't wait for that. Krishna Prem is the soul's desire to serve Krishna, to give him joy and happiness, and that's what gives all auspicious results for everyone. And that is why slowly Krishna says, perform yajnas, where only we keep chanting all the mantras. Everything is Narayana, everything is Vishnu, and I offer all this for you. And so by doing that, then Krishna gives benedicts in return. That is slowly teaching us step by step. Everything you do for my pleasure, then automatically everything will be happy for everyone. And this mantras, Krishna only gave about the animals being sacrificed. Also, they are being sacrificed in a place where it is for the pleasure of Vishnu by the mantras given by the Lord himself to test the effectiveness of the mantra, and then the animals, they are getting a chance to evolve. They'll get a much higher birth. And right away, it's not that they are, normally if you kill an animal, then he has to take another birth because this lifetime is not finished. So you're unnecessarily prolonging this, again birth and again suffering. But on the other hand, here, by chanting of these mantras and sacrificing them, their bodies, they are getting a much higher birth very fast. So you're benefiting them.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
I mean, somehow this, it doesn't sound, justifiable, because animal is killed means it is not committing suicide. It is somebody else is killing it. And again, going through that same cycle, for no mistake of it. Okay, if a human being does suicide, then it is on his own he's doing, so that cycle is not complete, whatever. But the animal, I mean, see, it's not doing anything. It's, somebody else is doing it. And somehow it is doesn't sound justifiable, because that way we while walking we will be killing so many living entities, and they have to take same body again and again. That's somehow it is not so this thing.
See, any accidental, even if you're for human beings also, if they're murdered, they'll go around like ghosts. I don't know if for animals, whether I don't think there is ghostly body. So probably they just take another birth. That is what, because everybody's got a life term to be done. So that is what we're harming them so much. And not only taking their physical body, the pain and the suffering, again putting them to this thing. What happens? It's unnatural death. Say, like somebody else comes and kills you, that's also unnatural death. And what happens? Still, you have to get a ghostly body and go around. That is the suffering and punishment. It's all, see, Krishna is the expert. He is the first, all judgment is taken by him. And for previous karmas, he knows what to do for each person. So there is nothing unjust. We cannot even understand the complexities of karma.
Mataji, if the person is doing all the works innocently, Mataji, then someone take their life, so that Mataji, that will be, then again we have to suffer, Mataji.
See, nobody is innocent. Anything which happens to us, it's because we've done something in the past. In this life, he may be innocent, but he is getting the results of the karma he did some other lifetime. So nothing is unjust. Everything is done by Krishna only for a purpose, for purifying us. We have to suffer the karmas of our own actions.
No, Mataji, okay. I mean, see, it is paying back its karma. It's all right. So that's the reason it is getting killed in some kind of accident or whatever it is. Somebody is stamping at it or somebody is killing it or something. So it is paying the price, But taking that body, instead of going to a higher body, because animals go through the evaluation, right? Instead of going to the higher one, taking that body again doesn't sound, justified.
But he has to live that term now.
No, but for no mistake of it has lost its life. If it is a suicide for a human being, it's all right because it's not lived its time and it kind of escapism. Suicide is kind of escapism and you are paying the price. But the animal or anything for the insect or something like that.
But murder also, you have to do that. You didn't commit suicide, somebody murdered you, then you have to, live out the term of that life as a ghost.
Suicide is, I mean, yeah, that what I am saying is it applies to the murder also because murder you are not doing it. Somebody else is doing violence on you. But again, taking for that. No, I'm specifically talking about
that is the whole package of punishment. I mean, that punishment comes due to some karma. Even for animals also, there is karma in one sense. They don't commit further karmas, but there is some karma. Like, some animals are very privileged, and then some in very nice climates, they get a lot of food and everything very easily. There are some other animals, or animals or even insects and all that. Their food is very scarce, very cold, and all those sort of things. So everything, there is some amount of karma based on the previous lives. Very, very complex. How do animals? They don't.
Some animals are also handicapped also, Mataji.
Some animals are
handicapped. We can see their legs or this one. Something is also handicapped. We can see so many animals like that also. That's also karma, right, Mataji?
Yeah. And the kind of suffering for the animals in Kali Yuga, how they are kept all packed up, like all these hens and all that. They're all packed together without any freedom of movement. That's suffering so much. I mean, so they also in Kali Yuga, we are born as an animal also suffering, worse suffering. All this is there. It's a whole entire package. Somebody you get killed like that, I don't know. I mean, that's what it is, especially if you terminate. That's why it is very bad to kill animals, because again, you have no right to take another person's life, because they have their this thing, life term, which is there. which they have to go through for them to get elevated to the next level. They have to go through that term. And then you untimely terminate the term, then they have to live it in again. No, it is based on not, they have to go through that experience in that particular body for some time. And if you stop it, then you'll also suffer like that. Maybe somebody will kill us. And that is why the whole chain of karma is very complex. No one can understand. Only the Paramatma, who's everywhere and he's situated in everybody's body, only he can know. Nobody else can understand. All we can do is, the one thing is, we can improve everybody's karma by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, our own karmas, and whoever even hears, all the insects and the animals and birds and trees, everybody gets liberated if by just hearing Hare Krishna mantra. That much we can help everybody. So if we feel very sorry for the animals, we should chant loudly so that everybody hears. So much we need to do. Such horrible things are happening around the world. And you hear all those news, you think, what am I doing here? Why can't ISKCON do much more? We can liberate all the people now. If all the ISKCON devotees thought, our main duty is simply to do Sankirtan and distribute prasadam everywhere, how much good we can do for the world. We're not doing all that. How much suffering. People are just doing all nonsense. So we can show compassion like that. Yeah, who knows how many people are getting liberated by hearing the holy names when we go on the street Sankirtan. So it's a wonderful thing, opportunity we have. Okay. Krishna, we go to text 34. Rishaya uchuhu ananvitam te bhagavan visheshtitam yad atmana charasihi karmana jase vibhutaye yata upasedhur ishwarim namanyate swayam anuvartatim bhavan. The sages prayed, Dear Lord, your activities are most wonderful. And although you do everything by your different potencies, you're not at all attached to such activities. You're not even attached to the goddess of fortune, who is worshipped by the great demigods like Brahma, who pray to achieve her mercy. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Lord has no desire to achieve any result from his wonderful activities, nor has he any need to perform them. But still, in order to give an example to people in general, he sometimes acts, and those activities are very wonderful. He is not attached to anything. Just see, even Krishna is acting only for this entire material world is created only for our pleasure. He gets no pleasure out of it. He's just watching. He's not enjoying anything. Just see, he's so selfless and he's so renounced. He's not attached. I created, it's mine, it's mine. No, he is ready to, he is not enjoying anything, only for us. And is watching over it, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Mahavishnu, all this Kshirodakshai Vishnu, all 24/7 just to help us understand. Okay, you wanted to enjoy, try enjoying. He gives us some kind of illusory pleasures, and finally he helps us to understand this is all useless. It is our original position of being a servant of Krishna is what is so ecstatic. And so that is the Lord. He himself is not attached to anything he does. Then why we should be attached? That is the thing. Why? And he does activities, nor has he any need to perform them. He is not getting any sense gratification. But still, in order to give an example to people in general, he sometimes acts, and these activities are very wonderful. He is not attached to anything. Namam karmani limpanti. Although he acts very wonderfully, he is not at all attached to anything. Bhagavad Gita 4.14 is self-sufficient. So that is the good example. We also have to be self-sufficient and not be attached to sense gratification. The example is given here that the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, is always engaged in the service of the Lord, but still he is not attached to her. This is what we can learn. People, oh, attachment, detachment, I don't understand. What is this? How I can stay, not be attached, and also do my service, also be affectionate, but not attached? How is it possible? By watching Krishna. Just surrendering to him, we'll also become like him, in the sense that he is, in one sense, very affectionate to Lakshmi, but he's not attached to her. Even great demigods like Brahma worship the goddess of fortune in order to win her favor. But although the Lord is worshipped by many hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune, he is not at all attached to any one of them. What does that mean? Attachment means that you're dependent on them. It's a kind of only in sense gratification. You feel that without them, I'm incomplete. No. Why do you have to be incomplete like that? You can be complete and you can love. That is detachment. That you're not incomplete. This distinction concerning the exalted transcendental position of the Lord is specifically mentioned by the great sages. He is not like the ordinary living entity who is attached to the results of pious activities. Every activity we do, we think, oh, how will it benefit me? What results will I get? And that is why in the shlokas also, at the end, they will say, if you recite this for so many days, you'll get this. You'll get all Putravan, Dhanvan, all that, everything you'll get. And we are fruitive like that. But the Lord is not at all attached. That is what means by not attached to your work. Simply do it because it has to be done. That's all. What results come, that is up to Krishna. So that is what is proper. That is our original state of mind, like Krishna. He is not attached. He doesn't want anything he simply does out of love. Whatever has to be done, I do it out of love. Then how happy we will be if it's all the stress and the misery comes when we start expecting something. And expectation leads to disappointment because nothing matches our expectations. I have this expectation, that expectation, and then it doesn't happen. Honestly, we create our own misery. Don't expect anything. Whatever Krishna gives, okay, that's fine. That is what is meant to be. Then you'll always be happy, isn't it? We create all these things in our mind. This is how it should be. People should behave in this particular way. They should all think in this particular way. They should talk to me in one particular way. They should do some things in one particular way, and then we create our own suffering. But simply, or I must get results of my activities like this. There starts all the misery, right? And when you're even education, for example, children, parents think my child should become this only, and then he should study this only, and then he should get this much marks only. He should then create all misery and tension unnecessarily. Why do you have to do all that? Give whatever best education, let him do whatever best he can. Be satisfied. If a Krishna conscious and more spiritually advanced, that's how we will be. In earlier times, this is how people were, because they knew that this body is nothing. Our goal and purpose in life is self-realization. So nobody gave too much emphasis on all this. What you did, how much you got, that was not at all the issue. Something you do, one job you do because everyone has to uh, take care of his body. That is one thing. And the main goal, purpose of life is self-realization. So you choose a job by which you don't have to endeavor too much. And you have enough time to realize yourself. There's time for self-realization. That was the purpose. So nobody competed with anyone. Okay, little bit envy might be there. Oh, the way they are enjoying, we didn't. But not so too much, because everyone knew that you do dharma, automatically artha, kama, moksha, all will come. Why I should see other people and think I do my dharma, I will get it. That is how our whole thing was. And all that has been destroyed by this modern secular education, where there's no There is no word of God, nothing, not even nothing connected with God. And so people become more atheistic by education. Through education, people become worse, uneducated. In fact, they become more ignorant about the truth. So that is the very sad thing. And then there is so much of conversions happening, mass conversions happening in our country. And it is all about our religion being lost, all this wonderful knowledge. I don't know, we have to do a lot more. I really wish it would happen. Sankirtans should happen so much, and much more we should do, because people are getting converted and we can easily reconvert. Garvapasi, Garvapasi, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's method. Demigods cannot get liberation by acting like demigods, because they also have some desire for sense gratification. That is Swargaloka. Then higher than that, Maharjanas, Tapas, they're all a little more elevated, but still, until they surrender to Krishna and become pure devotees, no question of their getting liberated either. Demigods are also not pure devotees.
So, Mataji, they have to take a human birth, Mataji.
When their results of whatever they've done over here, pious activities, because of that, they've gone there. Unless, so then they have to come back to the earth and again do pious activities and go there. Yes. Unless they are doing spiritual activities. For example, in Swargaloka, they don't do much spiritual activities. They're just enjoying themselves based on what karma they did in the earth. Like it's like you are paying ahead for your holiday trip somewhere. You paid, and as soon as your payment is over, I mean, you've enjoyed whatever you paid for, you have to come back to home. So like that. But then higher than that, Maharjanas, Tapas and all, they're all doing not so much enjoyment. They are only doing yajnas and spiritual progress. So they'll keep going higher and higher. Mahar to Janas, Janas to Tapas, Tapas to Satya, like that. But in the Swargaloka is the thing. If they do, because that place is for enjoyment. So normally they don't make it to Maharloka and all that. But there may be a few cases who, in Swargaloka also, they do some tapasya and then they can go to Maharloka. Otherwise, they have to come back to earth. For enjoyment, you have to come back to earth, create your good karma and go. Siddha uchuhu ayam. Oh, just a short one will do. Ayam tvat katha mrishta piyusha nadhyam manovarana klesha dhavagni dagdha Trisharto avagado na samsara dhavam na nishkramati brahma kampannavam na. The Siddhas prayed, like an elephant that has suffered in a forest fire, but can forget all its troubles by entering a river. Our minds, O Lord, always merge in the nectarian river of your transcendental pastimes, and they desire never to leave such transcendental bliss, which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the absolute. The statement is from Siddhas, the inhabitants of Siddhaloka, where the 8 kinds of material perfection are complete. The residents of Siddhaloka have full control in the 8 kinds of yogic perfection. But from their statement, it appears that they are pure devotees. They always merge in the nectarian river of hearing of the pastimes of the Lord. Hearing of the pastimes of the Lord is called Krishna Katha. Similarly, there is a statement by Prahlad Maharaj that those who are always merged in the ocean of nectar of describing the Lord's pastimes are liberated and have no fear of the material condition of life. The Siddhas say that the mind of an ordinary person is full of anxieties. The example is given of the elephant who has suffered in the forest fire and who enters into a river for relief. If persons who are suffering in the forest fire of this material existence will only enter into the nectarian river of the description of the pastimes of the Lord, They will forget all the troubles of the miserable material existence. The Siddhas do not care for fruitive activities such as performing sacrifices and achieving the good results. They simply merge in the transcendental discussions of the pastimes of the Lord. So they are something different. Siddhas are perfected beings. That makes them completely happy without care for pious or impious activities. For those who are always in Krishna consciousness, there is no need to perform any kind of pious or impious sacrifices or activities. Krishna consciousness is itself complete, for it includes all the processes praised in the Vedic scriptures. So there it's better. Siddhaloka is even better than all these other Maharjanas and all that. They are doing yajnas. So the Siddhas do not care for fruitive activities such as performing sacrifices and achieving the good results. They simply merge in the transcendental discussions of the pastimes of the Lord. That is the topmost. That makes them completely happy without care for pious or impious activities. So that is what we are also trying to emulate. Always in Krishna consciousness. For those who are always in Krishna consciousness, there is no need to perform any kind of pious or impious sacrifices or activities. So that is why from the very beginning, Prabhupada told us, follow this whole program of doing sadhana nicely and hearing Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. And if our consciousness is merged in that, then gradually we become detached from all these materialistic activities and wanting to enjoy. Oh, I want to go here and there and enjoy this and that. All that automatically goes away and we get happy. I mean, you can go. It's not that, but where will we go? We will go only where there is Krishna conscious activities. We will not get enjoyment out of just simply going and, I went on a cruise and then even there are cruises where devotees go. They hire a whole, this thing, not a ship, but a yacht or something. And they do kirtans, old Krishna Katha in the Europe and all that they have. Maybe we should also have a cruise from one port to the other. Maybe starting from which port? Go around. There was a cruise, I think, right? From Singapore to here or something like that. So devotees also have everything, but it is all for glorifying Krishna. So that way we can, devotees have a wonderful time. Only thing is they add Krishna to everything. They cannot live without Krishna. Then you can always be happy. So they are saying that our minds, oh Lord, always merge in the nectarian river of your transcendental pastimes. Everybody else is saying something else, but the Siddhas are saying that they always merged in happiness. And they desire never to leave such transcendental bliss, which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the absolute. So that is what is we've got it. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be like the sun which has arisen in the age of Kali to remove the darkness born out of illusion and ignorance. And simply by hearing Bhagavatam, our everything, first of all, our karmas are getting destroyed. We are getting a higher taste and we can be always merged in that happiness, thinking everything about Krishna. And we can do all our work much easily and everything will happen very mystically. That is what, if we are in Bhagavatam consciousness, then somehow work will get done very fast, very easily without having to struggle too much. If we are in Maya consciousness, well, depends on our karma. If our karma is good, somehow everything will move but we have to put a lot of effort. And if our karma is bad, even with all the effort, there'll be failures and disappointments and suffering. You have Bhagavata consciousness, then you do the work. Somehow everything gets done. I did something, I sat there, I did something. Everything is happening by Krishna's mercy. So that is more exciting, isn't it? Always merged in Krishna consciousness, people might think, oh, then how will the material life go on? Material life will go on perfectly if you think of Krishna. See, there is because we can always be aware of Krishna only doing everything. What am I doing? Everything is arranged by him. When you think of Krishna, every small thing will fit into place. You'll be there at the right moment, or something will happen. It is not happening by our planning. You are there at the right moment, things happen. Krishna is protecting us. One famous surgeon, he shared, I saw it in a WhatsApp forward, maybe you might have come across also. And he said that, see, what is the difference between me and a cobbler? I'm also stitching up this, the flesh and the skin and the flesh below. And the cobbler also stitches the leather, but his leather does not come together. I mean, it can easily, once the thread comes out, that's it. Again, it will be back to square one. It will be separate. But inside the body, it heals. I didn't do anything to heal that. I just stitched it, brought it together, that's all. And the healing takes place, and the entire flesh becomes one. There is no, once I remove the thread, there is no gap. It's all come together. That is the mystic power. He said, I didn't do that healing. That itself is a testimony of the existence of God, the Atma and the Paramatma. Because of that only, so many healing things are happening inside the body, which the doctors are not able to say how it happens. So that is recognizing God. And a doctor who's aware of the presence of Krishna and he's depending on him, then he'll be definitely a much better doctor. And that is why they'll say, doctor ka ye kai rashi in Rashi, or he's got a good hand, they will say. What is that? It must be his faith in God. And someone who's very negative, atheistic, who will go to such a doctor? Horrible. I don't know. I've not seen. I would never like to go to such a doctor. I won't trust him. But someone has got a nice hand, simply by his attitude only, he'll cure. Very nice. He just has faith in God, and he's very positive, and very encouraging, and praise to the Lord. And then that's how miracles happen. We do our effort, and then rest Krishna does. There is always the thing. We think only we are doing. That is when even the Mahabharat war, everybody thought that they are only killing others and all. I threw my arrow, I did that. But then that, what is his name? Katu Sham, who was watching everything from a distance, he said, who actually was the hero of this man of the match kind of, who is the hero of this war? They asked him. Katu Sham said, Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra is actually the man of the match, or, the hero of this war, because everywhere these weapons went, but actually Sudarshan Chakra went and cut. So at least, so that is how he was the doer of everything. So if we understand that, then it's wonderful. Things will get done very nicely. Whatever work it might be, with even all materialistic people, even the corporate jobs and all that, if we are thinking of Krishna, it'll all move like a song, isn't it? This Madhu Pandit, he shared with us, in the beginning days, he was not Ritvik and all. And he said that how he came to Krishna consciousness. So he was working in Mafatlal, as a trainee. He was there. And so then what happened? Some machine, it was not working. And nobody could repair it. And he was just a trainee. And he, because of being a devotee chanting Hare Krishna, somehow he found out, not because of his engineering skill or something. He said, by Krishna, Paramatma's help, I found out what is the mistake and had solved it. And they were heavily impressed. They gave him a job then and there, you can join. Please. So it's like that. Even in our work, it's the Paramatma. We can take shelter of him at all times. And then, or, difficult people we have to meet and they're harassing us, whatever it may be, any situation, Just think of Krishna. That's it. And Krishna says, you'll overcome all material problems of this world by thinking of me, taking shelter of me. On the other hand, if you out of false ego, you forget me, you'll be lost. That's why people are lost. Oh, so many problems. Oh, I'm getting heart attack, and I'm getting mental problems and depression, all because of lack of Krishna. That's all. Lack of faith in God. That's the cause of all this suffering in present world. And instead of going to that solution of taking shelter of Krishna, we are going more and more research, more, how to solve this problem. That creates another problem. Yeah, all medicines, allopathy medicines, you take one set of medicines to cure one problem. That creates another problem and you get other diseases. All the time we are going to the doctor. You get into allopathy, you do something, then they use to cure, what is that? What is that they use when you have
Side effect, Mataji.
Which?
Antibiotics.
No, not antibiotic. What did you say, Avya Prabhu?
Side effect, Mataji.
No, side effects. But they normally, suppose something is not getting cured at all, then they use that. Now, what is that? They say we gave that, and then you bloat up because of that.
Steroids, Mataji. Steroids.
Steroids. That's what, steroids. This is the kind of medicine. Something you do, and then it will create another bad effect. So it is all man-made things, no? So only very temporary, just you don't have a holistic thing. Whereas Krishna has got perfect, this thing along with the soul. But even allopathy, okay, we can't suddenly say that I won't use allopathy. That's part of our social, this thing. But even for that, if we pray to Krishna and depend on him more than the medicines, and we follow a nice lifestyle, and we follow, of course, Krishna consciousness, then to a large extent our health will be fine. And otherwise, if you just think, oh, I'll just pop a pill whenever I'm sick, I'll just go to the doctor, pop a pill, and then we don't know what's happening inside our bodies. So even the allopathic doctors should all worship Krishna. I'm sure Krishna conscious, like they do in this town, Bombay, we have Bhaktivedanta Hospital. There they are following allopathy only. Of course, they also have now Ayurveda department also. But that also with Krishna consciousness, praying to Krishna, going every day, remembering the patients also, taking Jagannath to their rooms and making everybody attend the Mangalarati. Even wheelchair people will be taken to the central part. Everyone has to attend Mangalarati, and all the food that they get is prasadam, and devotees going and talking to them about Krishna. Very nice atmosphere there. I'm sure some of them become devotees also after the thing there. So like that, everything, if more hospitals can become like that, it'll be fantastic.
More hospital will become a temple.
Yes, that is what people coming there, they say, this is not looking like a hospital, it is looking like a temple.
Temple. Will be very nice, Mataji.
You want to go to the hospital, no?
Yeah, Mataji. We can go anywhere, Mataji. For Krishna, we can do anything, Mataji. This should be. So, Mataji.
Okay, any questions or comments?
You explained very nice, Mataji. All the questions clear now.
Okay, we go for prayers now. On it. So we pray for His Holiness Jai Swami. Right now he is in Kolkata. Get them. Huh? What?
Pretending he went for something.
Guru Maharaj has gone for Rath Yatra to Kolkata, pretending he is going for something else. Yeah, I have to go. That's why they didn't breathe a word. Why he's going to Kolkata? And then it came to be known that keeping one medical excuse, he ccame for Rath Yatra. That is on the 7th, right? Guru Maharaj is always tricking and doing all these things to serve Krishna. Okay, so we pray for his complete recovery and
Hare
good
Krishna,
health.
Mataji,
Ah.
before also you maybe remember, he complained to Radhana Maharaj. They are all prison like that. I am sitting, I don't want to sit like that. Then Radhana Maharaj directly talked with the Guru, doctor. And then some ambulance itself, some ICU set up and he gone, no? Like this, some program.
Yes, so he went all the way to Pune. No, not Pune. Yeah, Pune. Yeah, from Bombay, he went to Pune. Can you imagine? He was in
Yeah.
he was recovering.
Now it's
But
like
still, not
we
ICU.
are full healthy also. We can't like this travel.
That is why for him, he is not the body at all. Something simply is it's Leela. He is just doing all this Leela. He is not affected by
Yeah,
his body.
Prabhupada declared, no, one of the follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Guru Maharaj don't want to, we disciples should not declare or something in the preaching way. We should not say. But other Radhanath Maharaj, Mahavishwa Maharaj, disciple, everyone is telling like this. They can tell.
They can tell what?
This one of the follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada declared, that is, they can say about Jayapada Swami like that. We should not say, no, Guru Maharaj told. Disciples, we are our father, no? So others can tell.
Guru Maharaj never said that Prabhupada told this about me.
No, someone if asking also, Guru Maharaj never told. Even there other disciples saying that one 50th anniversary, one Prabhu, he's not initiated our mission, but with Prabhupada, he was there that time.
Yeah.
So he said something. Then the disciples asking time, you people should not tell like that.
Oh, Guru Maharaj said like that?
If someone asking, they are saying like this, is in Guru Maharaj, then asking no or yes, something, not he will tell, but he will tell you should not say. Means my disciples should not say like this.
Really?
That is boasting, no? So that.
He will not say, but why shouldn't disciples say? I mean, we don't go showing off or something, but then
Yeah, that's what. That's what.
Yes, it is true. Prabhupada said that.
Yeah, our thing, Mataji, our children or our home, something if very nice, extraordinary means someone is have to say no. We should not say no. Same way.
Yeah. Yeah. So we pray for his complete recovery, longevity, good health, protection from all diseases, and